Okay then, we're going to take another look at the Raspberry Pi, because as you remember last time I did a video on this, I was struggling with it and really feeling quite frustrated. And there is a reason for that, and I want to talk about this first. There is the matter of what this thing was made for, the target audience, if you like. The Pi was designed as a programmer's tool, and a cheap programmer's tool. Kids going into university, or should I say young people going into university out of school after doing their A-levels, it used to be that they went in having had experience with programming, and now they're not. They just haven't had the tools available. Like programming on a PC, yeah, you can do it, but that's an expensive piece of kit, and maybe they don't have that, maybe their parents don't want them messing with it, something like that. What's needed is a cheap piece of hardware that they can mess around with, and it doesn't matter if they break it. And that is what the Pi is. It was to give university and kids entering university to do computer science the opportunity to learn a little bit about programming and hardware tinkering and whatnot before they get there. That's what it's for. That's not me. I am not part of the target audience, and I'm not speaking to the target audience. This video is not aimed at the target audience. This video is aimed at people like me. There is a massive part of the market for the Pi which isn't kids who want to program. It is people who see this as a small, cool gadget, and they want to know what they can do with it. They want to play with it. They know it will run Linux, and they have a bit of experience with Linux. Not much, but just enough to maybe think I could perhaps have a bit of fun with this. That's me. That may be quite a lot of other people, and it's those people I'm talking to. So what the hell is it like, having now played with it a bit? The first thing I can tell you is compatibility with what I would call industry standard kit is not good. That is apparently because we're so used to Windows being very, very forgiving and working with hardware that doesn't conform to industry standards. So this here is a powered USB port, and it works with this. This is a Belkin. It's cheap, it costs about £5. I bought two other USB, did I say ports? I meant hub. I bought two other USB hubs before this one that it didn't work with. You could plug any of those into a Windows powered machine and it would work. Not with this. Basically, there is a page on the Raspberry Pi website, maybe on the forum, I don't know. I'll put a link to the website down there somewhere if I'm not too lazy or forget. That goes to, there's a compatibility list. It's the stuff that'll work with it. Things like USB hubs, things like SD cards. Not all SD cards work with this, and it is critical that you find one that works, because otherwise your Pi is useless, because the operating system goes on the SD card. Other things that I had trouble with, yes, USB memory stick. There will be compatibility issues with some of these. I'm very lucky this one works. It's a 64 gig one that came from Switzerland. It's a SanDisk. Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit about Wi-Fi. This is my Wi-Fi USB dongle. Whoever came up with the word dongle? Compatibility with those is, in all honesty, a bloody nightmare. And you really need to use the compatibility list for that. I have 3 of the things sitting around this house that I wasn't currently using or could take off of another computer and plug in here. 3 of them. You would think that one of them would work. No. Even the one that specifically says it works with Linux. No. Didn't work. So in the end what I did was went onto eBay and bought one that it specifically said did work with the Pi, and hey presto, it did. Now, when I started out with this, I had an earlier version of the operating system. It's a version of, how do you pronounce it, Debian? They call it Raspbian, and is it called Squeezy or Wheezy? It's one of there are different builds of it anyway. And it was possible to get this thing working on Wi-Fi. Part of the problem is to get onto the internet with this, you need to be on the internet. Or that's how it was. It was like wired connection into the router, piece of cake, it just worked. Getting it working via Wi-Fi needed you to get it onto the internet to download the drivers. And there was some network software that you could get as well. It's the age-old story back in the dial-up days on my Amiga anyway. To get on the internet you needed to be on the internet, and that was a problem. This is not a problem now. They have updated the operating system. It has wireless support built in. It has drivers, certainly the driver for this thing, built in. And it works. Thank God. And you go to the Raspberry Pi website, you go to the downloads page, you download the operating system image, and I'm just using the one that it recommends, and you download another piece of software which you then use to burn that image onto your SD card. You stick that in, you turn it on, and it works. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Right then, so this is what the operating system looks like, or the one that generally they recommend. It works, in some ways it works like Windows. You've got your start menu here, accessories, educational stuff, internet. There's the important new feature, WPA GUI, that's where you configure your Wi-Fi. And it has that as standard now, where it didn't used to and was just a pain in the arse. Other load of stuff. Programming stuff, or it seems to actually be just everything all crammed into one thing instead of in categories. That's a bit strange. Programming tools, system tools, which is just a task manager, preferences, and a run thing, which I haven't ever actually bothered to use. Now, let's have a look, see if I can find penguins. Will that work? Yes. This is the this is good. This is a game. This is what oh crap, I didn't want to do that. Dork. Don't know what I pressed. We'll try that again. File manager. I don't want the file manager. You see, it's a lot like Windows in that respect. You got a lot of stuff you would expect to find on Windows, you will find here. Okay. So you got your little penguin. We've got no sound here. I don't know why that is. I would have expected sound. Oh, oh, we have got sound. That's me being stupid. You're not meant to jump in the water. You're meant to get the little penguin to the red thing. And it's, I mean, obviously this is just the first bit to show you what it's like. Yay, and the crowd goes wild. So, I mean, it does show that graphically the Pi is quite capable. Oh yeah. The blue bits are ice, and he just slides across them, and then you do that. Blah blah. I could play for ages on that, and on occasion actually have. It's good, it's cool, I like it. That's not what we're here to show you, but it is, you know, it's fun. So that is the nice side of this operating system. There is another side to it that I personally do not like. That doesn't mean it's bad, I just don't like it. And that is, it's Linux. And on Linux, the thing that you will find yourself using and needing to use a hell of a lot is the terminal, the shell, the command line interface. Call it what you like. I understand why they put so much emphasis on this. Linux command line language is extremely versatile and extremely powerful. It's about using multiple commands together. Make it do this, make it do that, take the results of those and do this with it. And you can tell it to do all of those things in one command. And that's great if you speak the language. But I don't. I speak English. And I like things to either be English or have a graphic user interface. And Yeah, you can do things with the command line that you couldn't do easily with a graphic user interface because it's complex commands. But I don't give a crap about that. If I want to do something simple, I want a user interface, and very often there isn't one. Things that should be easy aren't. I understand why that is. And that is because it is aimed at a different market. It's aimed at a different user. Regardless of how easy it is to find that information on the internet, the commands that you need, something like that, the syntax, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. But to someone like myself who's just diving in and who knows how to use a computer to, you know, to a fairly competent level on Windows, on the Amiga, I don't know about the Mac, it's probably even easier on there, it certainly was once upon a time. Anyway, to work out how to do something can be a very frustrating thing. And that being the case, to a person like me, I don't like this. At all. You know I'm not the kind of user it's aimed at. I can completely accept that, but that's not what this is about. It's not about, is this a good operating system? It is this an operating system that would suit a user like me? Well, if you're a user like me, this ain't gonna work for you. And that ultimately is the conclusion I've come to in terms of this. Now, there are lots of programs that I've yet to try. That is one of the cool things on it. If you can remember how to do it, I've got it all written down. There is this thing called apt-get and such like. Hang on, let's sudo. I mean, it's stupid. The words don't mean anything. Apt-get update. That will update this thing called the repository, which is where you get all your software from. It's like, I don't know if it's an FTP thing or whatever it is. It's a server somewhere that's got loads of software, and there are probably multiple different servers scattered all over the interwebs where you can get stuff and run it. But to do that, you've got to use the command line interface. There is apparently a piece of software with a graphic user interface, but apparently it's sluggish and slow. I have no idea why that should be, because the Pi isn't up there with modern hardware, modern PCs, but damn it, it's a whole lot more powerful than the Amiga was, and my Amiga could use a graphic interface no problem without chugging and stuff. That's the reason I'm told that the graphic user interface thing to do this is not ideal. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that person is just talking bollocks, but either way, I have learned how to do this. I'm just waiting for it to update now. What it's doing is updating the cache for the repository so it knows what's there. I'll then show you, I don't know if you can even see this. It doesn't really matter, I can barely see it with my eyes. I'll speed this up. Okay, that's updated. You see, I mean, it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about with the command line. Sudo apt get update. You would not know to use words like that. I mean, what the hell kind of word is sudo? That I know what it means. It's telling it I actually mean to do this. I'm not stupidly pressing the keys by accident. But yeah, okay then. Then we have apt get. I'm not telling it to install something or whatever, so I shouldn't need the sudo. Apt. Now what do I want? What do I want? Apt cache. Search. Oh, what do we search for? Games. Pipe less. You need to put. Oh, and it hasn't put the bloody pipe. Do I want a gap there? I probably just want game rather than games. Pipe less. That tells it, well, you'll see. When it does a search like this, if you put pipe less, you can then use, well, maybe, yes, you can use the cursor keys to go up and down the list. If you don't do that, it will just scroll all the way to the bottom of the list and you can't look at everything that's gone off the screen. These are some of the games that you can get for it. I haven't installed any. I don't know what they're like. There's something I will look at. I don't know if you can read this or if it's out of focus. Can't tell looking at my camera. But yeah, that's how it works. And you would then do sudo apt get install and the game name, and it would install it for you. It doesn't just download it, it installs it. And that is cool. I like that aspect of it. That is the thing. It is a very, very clever operating system. It is also a pig if you don't speak fluent Linux. And I don't. So I'm probably going to tinker with it trying to play games, because anything else that I could do with it computery, I could do on my PC more easily. And I'm not a programmer, so I don't want it for that. You know, it did leave me asking the question, okay, I've got this thing working now, what do I want to do with it? Is there a purpose to me having this? Because everything I can do on it, I can do with a PC more easily and with more power. One of those things is play games, so I will be having a look at those. I can obviously play games on the PC, but here are lots of them and they're free. And I don't know what they're like, so I'll try them, just because I can. Now, that is Debian, Raspbian they call it. It's the main, you know, like beginner's version of Linux for the Raspberry. There are other operating systems on it. There is RISC-OS. There is Arcos. It's like a version of the Amiga operating system that I don't know how much like the Amiga operating system. It works like, looks like it from what I can tell, but under the bonnet, does it work in the same way? I don't know, because it was what was under the bonnet that I loved. The thing is, you've got those operating systems. They will work maybe very well, maybe not, I don't know, it depends how far they are into development. But how much software is there for them? Because it's all very well having a fantastic operating system on your hardware, but if you can't run anything on it, it's pointless. And that is where I feel those might be at the moment. Probably you shouldn't quote me on that. That's my hunch. I haven't checked them out because I haven't installed them to find out, because it's a catch-22 there. You need the software to sell the, well, in this case, the operating system rather than the hardware. And I haven't seen much about software for them. And that is the thing here as well. Availability of software. Lots and lots of people on my last video said, or some people said, oh, you should try blah blah piece of software. That runs on Linux. Yeah, okay. There's a problem there. There are, apart from the fact that there are different types of Linux, like Debian and Ubuntu and Mint, which is another version of Ubuntu, and what's that, KD, whatever, loads of different versions. There are also versions written for different hardware, and there's the thing. You might be able to get different versions of Intel-based Linux to work for different versions of Intel-based Linux, but this is running on ARM and ARM6. And that won't run anything other than software written for ARM6 Linux. Won't run ARM7, won't run Intel, or anything else, Motorola-based stuff. Forget it. If it's not ARM6 Linux, it ain't going to run on this. So all those, or you know, people are thinking, oh, I can play this or that, or run this or that. Chances are you can't, very often. There is a lot of software for this, but not necessarily as much as you think there is. Anyway, that's that. That's the geeky, techie, technical, oh my god, my brain is going to explode side of it. And then there is, and let me just, yeah, I want to be about there. Then there is something else. And this is the thing that I like, and I'm going to show it you now. This was recommended to me by several people, and it just took me a while to get my finger out and try it. Rebooting. Changing SD card. This is the beauty as well of the Pi. You want to change your operating system on your PC, well, you could have a multi-boot system, and that's all well and good if you know how to do that. But what I've just done is turned off my Pi. That sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Turned it off, pulled out the SD card, stuck another one in. I'm about to turn on the power, and it's booting. And we'll just sit and watch this, because it's just really, really, really exciting, as you can see. Can you hear me tapping my feet? Are you thrilled? And we get this. That's pretty. And then we get this, which is quite simple. If you are, well, this is, I don't know how you pronounce it, Raspbmc, Raspbmc, whatever, call it what you like. I'm calling it Raspbmc. It's a media center, it's a media player basically. It will play videos, music, it's got some program stuff on it, system tools, file manager, blah blah, it's got the weather on it, whoop-de-doo. If you're used to the cross-media bar on the PlayStation 3, it works in kind of a similar way. And it simply is a media player. But you can have it on your whopping great big TV coming out of a tiny little box. You don't need your PC near your TV. It's very inobtrusive in terms of like the space the hardware takes up. And I'm running this on a wireless mouse. So at some point when I'm finished playing with it up here, I'm going to put it on the telly downstairs, and all I'm going to need is this little wireless mouse. And that's great, because you can do useful stuff, like watch films, or look at pictures, or play music. I'm just looking... Don't do that. Actually, what was... Come back. View options are slideshow, randomize. Yeah, whatever. Is it going to be a random slideshow maybe, if it's responded to my mouse click at all? It's just sitting there like a dumbass right now. Yeah, it's doing something. It's kind of being a bit slow actually. Working, it says. Work faster. Here we go. It will have been, well, drawing up a playlist, I imagine, of all of the photos that are on. Yes, it's a random playlist of everything that's on this SD card, which is a lot. So yeah, it will have been going through all of them to see what was there, and that's why it was slow. I'm not too sure about the way it moves the photos around. These are my photos. These are my holiday photos. Yeah. So that's one thing it does, and if you like this kind of thing on a massive great big telly, it's great. And then that's it with photos. Come on, exit out of there, get off of there. I'm not entirely sorted on what mouse clicks do what yet, and it does have a tendency to sit there and go duh for a bit. Music. Same kind of thing. All these files I've got crammed onto this 64 gig SD thing. You can put files on your, no, it's not on the 64 gig SD, it's on the 64 gig USB. You can also put files on your SD card. I've just got the USB stick because it's bloody massive, and I've crammed loads of photos and music and videos on it. It's not entirely fast at building up the list, but again, I've got something like 8 gigs of music on here. Let's find something I can actually play to you without... Yeah. What am I looking for? That. No, I just want all of that to go away. How do I get that? There. That's what I want. Let's click to there. Will it go to there? I don't know. Maybe not. I want to grab it and move it along and I can't. 4 by 8 by... Go faster! Come on, go to here. Edit this. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. You can't just grab it and skip to where you want to be. Or if you can, I haven't found out how. Whatever. Play now. Alright, the ability or inability to skip to the part of the song that you want is annoying, but it looks nice. If we can get rid of that bar across the front, please. Now, ignoring all of that, because you get the gist, you have what you call add-ons, where you can add stuff on, basically. And a lot of this is internet-related stuff, like radio stations. It's the same with video. You can add video channels, YouTube is on there. What's it, Vimeo or whatever. It sounds like some kind of sink cleaner. MP3 search, so you can search for and download MP3s, or all kinds of music related stuff that you can install and run from this here cross media bar what's it. And we've got the same kind of thing in video. So look at the files, because I've got one I can show you, just so you can see how well it works. Because obviously you don't know what a video playing on a TV looks like, do you? Yeah, you might recognise this. That's me riding a bike badly, so you can see what it looks like. With my music slowed down a lot. No, don't do that. We want to bang out of there. Yeah, something like that. No, just bugger off. No. That's me clicking when I didn't mean to. You've got other stuff. There's a weather thing over here, which frankly I can't be bothered to show you because it's the weather. Really. Look out the window. System, yeah, that's self, system info, profiles, file manager, settings, easy enough stuff. You don't need me to show you that. Programs, network manager. You will need, yes, okay. I'm running this on Wi-Fi and it works nicely. It doesn't currently do that out of the box. This is the same problem I had with the Raspbian operating system. They're going to update this to give it Wi-Fi access out of the box. But at the moment you've got to plug it into your router to download this and install the network manager. As soon as you've installed that, it's a piece of cake. Even I managed to use it, and it's not difficult. And as soon as you've got that on there, you can have Wi-Fi. And it's cool. Add-ons. This works in the same kind of way as that sudo apt get thing. It gives you a repository and shows you all the things that you can get and install on it and stuff. Advanced launcher. Yeah. Some stuff that I don't know what the hell it is. Commands. What? Map multiple XBMC commands to one remote button. No, I don't want to. But the fact that you can is good. All kinds of stuff. Pseudo TV. Acts similar to a normal broadcast or cable TV, complete with multiple preset and user-defined channels on an EPG. What's an EPG? I don't know what that means. RSS editor. There was something I wanted to look at. ROM collection browser. With this add-on you can browse and launch emulator ROMs and standalone games in X. Does this mean there's an emulator built in? I don't know about that. I mean, it sounds quite interesting, but I don't know quite. Scan your ROM folders and import games to local database. I don't know. You see, it doesn't. Collection browser doesn't sound like an emulator, but it's saying launch emulator ROMs and I don't know. Yeah, loads of stuff that you can add on. And get off. Get back there. Now, I would like it if when you've installed those, they would appear like here. And actually maybe they do. But on some of those, they appear, you like have a sub-menu for add-ons. I would like it if they would appear like directly below, like in one of the... I would like it if you didn't have to click to get to them. But you do. Like, just... Yeah. Click that to get here, and then I haven't got any add-ons installed, so I can't show you what I mean. Videos, I've got some installed there. I know I have, unless it's gone on. Yeah, here we go. No, they're not bloody add-ons, they're the files. Get back up. Okay, video add-ons. You see, when you click the video thing on the cross media bar, it'll bring you to this normally. And then if you want your add-ons, you've got to click that. I would like them all to be in a list as soon as you enter your thing. I guess you can't have everything and I'm being picky. But anyway, these are like, yeah, these are the things that I've already installed. And they're largely streaming TV channels and the like, and it's cool. I went on Retroware TV last night just to see what was on there, and I found a load of Freakin' D, Clint, Lazy Game Reviews, some of his stuff on there, and watching it in 720p on a big telly was great, because whenever I watch YouTube I'm watching it on my PC in a little window, you know, I'm watching it in 480p or whatever. Yeah, and seeing Clint's stuff there, I was watching his BBC Micro review on this telly, big, and it was great, it really was. So yeah, I mean, it's not a complex operating system, if you like it. I don't know if you even want to call it an operating system, but it's something you can do with the Raspberry if you like your music, your videos, your photos and stuff like that, and want a bit of streaming video off the internet. This is really good. It does it easily, and it'll put it on your big telly without having to, I don't know, cart your computer into the living room and hook it up to your telly or something like that. Yeah, you could do that with a laptop as well, and on occasion I have. But it's inobtrusive. You can just like cram it behind the telly and do it with a mouse. It's cool. It's a good, valid use for the Raspberry that I like, that I actually will use it for, because I've been like, okay, I've got this, I've figured out how to use it, I'm not really liking it much, it's not suiting my purposes, and then I found this, and yeah, I like this. So there are many things you can do with a Raspberry, and it is all a question of what you want out of it, because the chances are it's not aimed at you, it's aimed at kids who want to learn how to program. And that probably isn't you, it definitely isn't me. It is going to get better with time. When I first got it, I was kind of diving in quite early. The operating systems that were available for it were very incomplete. They still are quite incomplete. You know, support for hardware was very much lacking. It's getting better. And it is one of those things, I think in a couple of years' time it's going to be very interesting to see where it's going and what's appearing on it. At the moment, if you're not a computer geek who knows you know, really knows how to get to grips with Linux and the command line, should you buy one? If you want a cool media server that takes up a tiny little bit of space, yeah, it's pretty good for that. If you want a tiny computer that you can just plug and play and have some useful programs that you can access easily with a minimum of messing about and use like a normal everyday computer that you're used to, that's just smaller, forget it. It's not. It really isn't that kind of thing. If you're looking for a tiny little Windows type machine that maybe would be as easy to use as Ubuntu, forget it. It ain't gonna happen, or at least not yet. It's not like that. It takes a lot of messing about, a lot of trawling through forums to find the answers to the questions that you want. I would say, if I can find my phone, which just beeped at me, and I put it down somewhere and can't find it. Where the hell's that gone? There it is. Vodafone are making some changes to their pricing. Well, they can just piss right off. Okay. Here is something I strongly recommend buying. You can't see because it's gone all dark. Why has it gone all dark? It's not very good, is it? Put that back on. You probably still won't be able to see. Yeah, because I've turned the brightness down on the thing. Alright, Raspberry Pi User Guide by, how do you pronounce that? Eben? We'll call it Eben, it might be Eben Upton. The guy who basically designed the Pi. And Gareth Harfacree. Okay, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Yeah, this is the official user guide. You can get it either on, like I've got here, the Kindle, or you can buy a proper book, which costs a little bit more. And I recommend it. If you don't know, well, there are lots of things you won't know, and if you're not a genius at Linux, and I'm not, it will tell you what you need to make this thing work. And I thoroughly recommend getting that if you get a Pi. There you are. I think I'm done. Long rambling waffle. going to have to go and do some major editing now. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's been kind of a bit of an ordeal, a bit of a battle of wills, if you like, me versus a piece of plastic and some circuit board. And for a while it looked like it was going to win and I was just going to give up and stick it in the cupboard. But no, this Raspbmc thing I like. Getting Wi-Fi access fitted as standard to the Debian Raspbian thing is a real step up, because that was holding loads of people back, because not everyone can get a hardwired connection to their router, and if you can't get that, you're screwed. Or you were, now you're not. So it's very much a case of read the forums, find out what's compatible with it hardware wise. Don't expect it to be straightforward, but if you can handle that, it's an interesting piece of kit. Okay, rambled far too much. Serious editing to do now. Probably forgotten loads of things I should have said. Thank you for watching.